Yeah, there we go.
We've never kind of been this divided in a long time.
There we go.
There are clear and deep and profound differences in your approach to governance. And before we
Alina
begin,
needs to get the
one
fuck
quick note
back
to all
in
of
this
you that are
bitch.
watching at home. Okay, I'm now the longest running primetime cable host in the history of cable news. I'm now,
well, I don't give a
blessed,
fuck.
In my 28th year at Fox. It's kind of
Nobody gives a shit.
However,
nobody cares.
I will be
We
moderating
want you to
this
get
debate.
Rush
I will not be
Limbaugh.
part of the debate. Our questions tonight will be coming from well-sourced, fact-centered perspectives, and you will see and hear most of tonight's questions will deal with the most fundamental issues, the ones that impact the lives of the people that make this country
We're going to hear about the border
the people in
immediately.
Florida, the people in California, and in many ways, every state in the country. We'll discuss taxes, the economy, immigration, crime, guns, homelessness, education, parental rights, abortion, gas prices. In other words, the things that impact you every single day. In the end, you will get to decide
French fries and my chicken nuggets.
You believe is better. The
I got my fucking French fries and my chicken nuggets.
And again, fact-based questions.
Got my motherfucking
French fries. All right,
my chicken
as
nuggets.
we speak, there is a phenomenon. It is playing out across the entire country.
What I tell
Americans,
you,
they
shit
are
is so good and crummy. I'ma shove them in my motherfucking pussy. Got that goddamn red sun. French fries, chicken nuggets, shove them in my pussy. French fry pussy, chicken nuggetsy. Got that goddamn right, son. I'm gonna fucking fuck myself with my dinner. Second dinner, technically. I had potato soup with my mom.
From other states.
What?
So Governor DeSantis,
motherfucking Alito.
I was not part of it. I missed it.
What's
but
up?
apparently, Governor Newsom, you won the coin toss.
Oh shit!
And you chose to
let
let
Here we
Governor
go.
DeSantis have the first question. You will get the last word tonight. So I begin with you. You know, for Governor Newsom, I will ask.
Bro, look at that fucking face, bro.
Responses on this
look at this motherfucker's face.
What do you? It's a simple question.
Look at this motherfucker on the left.
Governor, what's going on?
When I was in the Navy, I got orders to go to Naval Amphibious Base Coronado in Southern California. And I was a lifelong Floridian, but I went there and I was like, man, this is one of the most beautiful places on earth. And I think California has more natural advantages than any state in the country. You almost have to try to mess California up. And yeah, that's what Gavin Newsom has done since he's been governor. He's the first governor to ever lose population. They actually, at one point, ran out of U-Hauls in the state of California because so many people were leaving. Of course,
dude, I feel like Newsom knows that this is a slam dunk,
while
bro.
exempting himself from those restrictions and going to the French Laundry while his people were suffering. He led the country in school closures, locking kids out of school while he had his own kids in private school in person. Now, he's very good at spinning these tales. He's good at being slick and slippery. He'll tell a blizzard of lies to be able to try to mask the failures. But the reality is they have failed because of his leftist ideology. And the choice for America is this. What Biden and Harris and Newsom want to do is take the California model and do that nationally. In Florida, we showed that conservative principles work. This country must choose freedom over failure.
Governor Newsom, your reaction.
Vera, shut the fuck up.
It's good to be with you, Sean. It's nice also to see you in a tie as well tonight. Good to be with you, Ron. And I
dressed up for the occasion, Governor.
Dressed up? No, I'm impressed and I'm grateful. Look, it's an important occasion. This is an important conversation, and I think it's important to folks watching. They're probably wondering, what are we actually doing here? And I want to answer that very directly. I'll tell you why I'm here. I'm here to tell the truth about the Biden-Harris record and also compare and contrast Ron DeSantis' record and the Republican Party's record as a point of contrast that's as different as daylight and darkness. You want to bring us back to a pre-1960s world, America in reverse. You want to roll back hard-earned national rights on voting rights, on civil rights, on LGBTQ rights, on women's rights, not just access to abortion, but also access to contraception.
That's a good little whore. There we
you
go.
want to weaponize grievance. You are focusing on false separateness. You in particular, Ron, are on a banning binge, a cultural purge, intimidating and humiliating people you disagree with. You and President Trump are really trying to light democracy on fire. So, Sean, there are profound differences tonight, and I look forward to engage them. But there's one thing, in closing, that we have in common is neither of us will be the nominee for our party in 2024.
Governor,
my God.
Great opening statement, but
Brutal,
It's not a
because
question. I mean,
didn't-
I think-
because DeSantis is running and Newsom isn't.
This migration
Brutal.
out of California and going to red state,
You mean
blue state.
We may as well
you
just
mean
say that DeSantis
the
is
last
wasting his
2 years,
time.
more Floridians going to California than Californians going to Florida?
I put up on the
By the way,
screen.
that's going to be fun to fact check, so we'll just start right there. California has no peers. California dominates, size of 21 state populations combined. It's the 5th largest economy in the world. We dominate, #1 manufacturing state. We dominate in two-way trade and research and development, access to innovation, more scientists, more researchers, more engineers, more Nobel laureates in the state of California than any other state in the nation, the finest system of higher education. It's the birthplace of life science and biotech and nanotechnology. We dominate in green tech.
I definitely
we
eat the fuck
dominate
out
in
of that.
high tech. We dominate in artificial intelligence. So with respect, I think it's an interesting campaign strategy for Ron DeSantis to be bashing a state of 40 million Americans when California simply has no
I'd eat that.
peers.
Well, that's a pretty slick way of not answering your question. He went on a binge of putting out a lot of left-wing platitudes. Here's what I would say. I talked to a lot of people that have moved from California to Florida. And we never used to get people from California to Florida, or really anywhere in these, because why would you leave California? It's got the best weather, great natural forces. Excuse me, sir.
He's going back to his original statement.
I had, I was talking to a gentleman, a couple.
Guys, I'm going to let the debate breathe. But it's his turn. Let's take turns.
So I was talking to a fella who had made the move from California to Florida, and he was telling me that Florida is much better governed, safer, better budget, lower taxes, all this stuff. And he was really happy with the quality of life. And then he paused and he said, "Oh, by the way, I'm Gavin Newsom's father-in-law. So we do count Gavin's in-laws as some of the people that have fled California and come to the state of Florida."
Is that true?
And why are we getting people to come?
Is that even true?
We have a 50-year low in the crime rate.
That's a hell of a claim
You
to
don't
make.
see in the last 10 years, we've had a 45% decline in homelessness. California's had a 45% increase in homelessness. We back the blue. I was walking the streets of San Francisco a couple months ago, and I had some of the cops in San Francisco do a beeline to come over to me, and I didn't know what they were going to say. And they're like, "We want to thank you for standing for law enforcement, because we don't."
All of DeSantis's testimony here is just anecdotes from like individual people.
That Florida's doing it right. And I can
On top of that, his anecdote is like, "We want to thank you for sucking the cocks of the keepers of the state and our monopoly on violence. We want to thank you for making sure we keep that."
The last 2 years. But let's talk about crime.
Governor, hold on. Governor, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
It's been said a lot of things that were factually untrue, including that 50-year crime low, which his own law enforcement team said you should not be using.
You have yet to address the issue, but I asked you twice. You don't want to answer it. But the issue of why the migration out of red states, out of blue states.
We just established more Floridians coming to California in the last 2 years than the
overall. You had a net loss of 7.
It's a fact.
Just asserted it.
It's a fact.
No, it's not a fact.
It is a fact.
Moving on. Let's go. Your states have vastly different income tax rates. Okay, it is what it is. These are the facts. California's highest rate of top earners, 13%. Married couple, for example, in California, earning a median income of $84,000, they have a 6% income tax in the state of California. Florida's income tax rate is 0% across all salaries, but it goes beyond income taxes.
What about roads?
Property taxes are lower in California, but everything else is higher. Let's take a look at the numbers. These are the facts. The average property tax in California, 0.75%, Florida, 0.91%. Sales tax, California, 7.25%, Florida, 6%. Gas tax rate, California, 77 cents a gallon.
Where are the taxes going, though?
It's up to $1 when you include mandatory fees, and in Florida, it's 35 cents. Corporate income tax, California, 8.84%, Florida, 5.5%. Governor Newsom, this is your question. Let me ask you. Obviously, you support a different philosophy, which is higher taxes.
Yes. No, hold on.
No, we have a tax question, Governor.
This is a very different approach, and I agree with you completely. He has one of the most regressive tax rates in the United States of America. It's the #3 most regressive state in America. And what that means is simply this. Who does he tax? He taxes low-income workers more than we tax millionaires and billionaires in the state of California. The question is a simple one. Who, Ron, are you for? It's a factual lie that the state of California is high tax.
Dude, California has double the population of fucking Florida.
It's a foundational and fundamental difference. You look at states like Texas, overwhelming majority of Texans pay more taxes than the state of California. So again, it's who you're for. And I think those values matter. And I appreciate you bringing up the issue of taxes.
How many people leave
Also,
Florida
like
to go to
80% of
California
Americans
because they pay
support
less
taxing millionaires and
taxes?
billionaires.
I've not seen that. Are people going from Florida to New York because they pay less taxes? Of course not. They come to Florida because they pay lower taxes. We don't even have an income tax. And yet California has a higher sales tax than we do, and that's one of the things that we do. But here's the thing.
Where does the taxes
I'll give Gavin credit.
go?
He did at least admit in his first answer, he's joined at the hip with Biden and Harris. He thinks Biden and Harris have done a great job. He thinks the economy is working because of their policies for Americans, and they are not. And so what California represents is the Biden-Harris agenda on steroids. They would love nothing more than to get 4 more years to be able to take the California model nationally. That would be disastrous for working people in this country.
Well, talk about working people. They pay more in your state than the state of California charges for billionaires and millionaires, and it's just a value proposition.
True.
It's a fact. Again, you can't make.
You have $6 or $7 a gallon gas. How do they afford that? These are folks that are blue collar people.
What's the cost of living?
To buy an electric vehicle. How are they going to be able to afford electric vehicles?
What's the cost of living?
If you're working class people? And I think the thing about California, they have one of the highest inequality rates because, yeah, they've got Silicon Valley billionaires. They've got a lot of very wealthy people. They've got a lot of people that are on government assistance, but they've hollowed out their middle class. That's who's been leaving California. They've been leaving in other places. They go to Arizona. They go to Nevada. They go to all these places.
Florida has a higher poverty rate than California does.
Ron, I'm happy that you continue
Pretty
to
much
talk.
any
Let's
red
talk a little
state.
bit about Bidenomics because I'm happy to take that on right now as well. And I think it's
You're
a fair
big
point.
supporter of it. I appreciate you acknowledging
14 million jobs, 10 times more than the last 3 Republican presidents combined.
Because he had
815,000 manufacturing
the jobs were because of the COVID lockdowns. Are you kidding?
The last 3 presidents, not COVID. Last 3 Republican presidents.
Talk to the American people. 3.9% unemployment, the lowest black unemployment in American history, the lowest unemployment for Hispanics in American history, the lowest unemployment for women in 70 years, the lowest black poverty rates in history. That's this administration's agenda. And by the way, as you smile and smirk over there, you should know this, the American people. Here's a guy who celebrated Bidenomics just this week, celebrating $28 million that came into your state because of the CHIPS and Science Act, one of the most significant economic plans since FDR. I'm proud of the work Biden and Harris have done.
Would you like to respond? And
Damn.
Follow-up. The 6% rate on people, families.
What the fuck,
in
dude?
California, they pay 6% income tax on $84,000 a year.
Low-wage workers
That's why
in the state of Florida pay more than
I
billionaire state of
didn't ask
California.
about Florida.
Governor,
He is
30.
I'm asking
But here's
about-
let me ask the question.
spinning lies
Let me ask
to
the
be
question.
able to
Let me
try to cover for his
Ron, if I may
Let him
ask
answer and then I'll let you
answer the
respond.
question.
Okay.
California has lower taxes, lower than 32 states for working families in the middle class. Significantly lower
So
taxes
you
than
support
places
that? That's what
like
you say.
Texas.
You support a 6% income tax for
I'm
people,
against,
a couple
I'm
making
against
$84,000.
regressive taxes that advantage billionaires and millionaires over working families and the working poor. People in his state pay more taxes on the low end than we tax people on the high
How
end.
does
That's
paying
a fact. and it's
$7 a
value
gallon
proposition.
gas help
And he goes
working
back to the
people?
gas.
That doesn't help working people at all.
He goes, yeah, but the gas prices in there, the gas prices in California.
Working people at all.
I'm wearing
They have
heels.
the highest taxes in the nation. People flee to be able to save money to get out of California. And you have working class people that move to these other states. Their dollars go much further. But here's the thing. They want to take this Bidenomics and they want to double down on this for the next 4 years. How many people are able to afford groceries now compared to what you were doing 3 or 4 years ago? I talked to people, I talked to a woman who had a cart full of groceries going in.
I'm not sure comparing this economy to the middle of COVID is where Ron DeSantis wants to go with this.
That didn't used to be the case. People used to be able to work hard and get ahead. That is not true under Joe Biden. And you know what, Sean, one more final thing. California's unemployment rate is 60% higher than Florida's unemployment rate. Our unemployment rate is 2.8%.
That dovetails into my next question, Governor.
Because it's a command and control economy.
Bullshit.
They have a political agenda that they're pursuing.
Let me
at
ask
the
that
expense of
question.
People.
on with the question of jobs. I think it's important. You know what? That affects that affects everybody.
Biden administration, the last 3 years, it's been a master
Joe Biden paying you tonight
3.9%.
I thought this was state versus state.
No, but it's about the United States of America. I thought this guy was running for president of the United States. If
You
you're
are
running
too.
for a
You just won't admit it.
running for a third.
You just won't admit it. You will not admit it.
Why don't
All right, gentlemen.
that you're running?
All right, we can't talk.
on
We
here.
can't talk. I'm going to move on to the next
covering,
question.
he's
The
running.
unemployment rate in Florida right now
Yes.
is just 2.8%. As you stated. And California ranks second worst in the country at 4.8%.
But they have doubled the population,
This
dude.
question goes to
On
Governor
record,
DeSantis, and then you'll have a chance to respond. Governor DeSantis.
It's virtually the
Right. I
same.
mean, they tax too much. They
proportions.
regulate too much. They have a political agenda. It's not a good climate for business. They've lost a lot of companies. A lot of companies have moved to Texas. We have had some to Florida, but they've lost a lot of companies to Texas because they're not doing a good job looking out for folks and not creating a good business environment. And, you know, when I have people that come to Florida, they tell me, you know, you guys actually want us to succeed in Florida. And they feel like when they're in California, they don't want business to succeed.
Is that what
and all
Disney's
that
saying?
stuff.
The Tampa Bay Rays?
Well,
Is
actually,
that what
yeah.
all these
I
other
think that's an
private
interesting
sector
point with
corporations say?
Disney because
Please.
I had Disney open during COVID, and we made them a fortune, and we saved a lot of jobs. You had Disney closed inexplicably for over a year.
And now you're
you were
trying
not
to
following
sue
science.
Disney.
You were a lockdown governor. You did a lot of damage to your people. You had more kids locked out of school for a longer period of time in California than anywhere else in the country. It was the working class kids. It was the middle income kids. His kids.
Yeah. Let's just make sure that kids don't like catch COVID and like take it home to their like immune-wise weaker parents and grandparents and make them like accidental orphans. Yep, that's a bad decision.
A record on COVID. You passed an emergency declaration before the state of California did. You closed down your beaches, your bars, your restaurants.
False.
It's a fact.
Beaches
You had
were not
quarantines.
False.
You had quarantines. You had checkpoints all over the state of Florida. By the way, I didn't say that. Donald Trump laid you out on
Damn,
this.
it just
Dead to right.
felt like a random.
You did
Not
that.
true.
You followed science. You
Stabbing
followed
me.
Fauci.
That's
Ron
not-
Santos.
that's not
He
true.
followed science.
That's
He
not true.
followed Fauci. You were
why did
promoting.
everyone leave
Hold on. You
California
were
to come to
promoting
Florida? Because we
vaccines.
were open.
You were promoting
We were
vaccines. You
open.
even
We were
wore a
closed.
mask in
We were
September.
open.
Sean,
You were closed.
If it's okay with you, we'll do this.
Why were you
Why don't we
closed
do
for
this
so
in a way
long?
where we both can have
Why were you closed for
opportunity?
so long?
You wore
You
a
were
mask
closed.
with
All right, guys,
Donald
guys,
Trump
closed.
outside
I'm trying to let it breathe.
in September
Gavin,
2020. He did all of
Governor
that
Newsom.
until he decided to fall prey to the fringe of his party. And as a consequence of that, Ron, tens of thousands of people lost their lives.
Not true.
The equivalent, if I
is.
Florida had a brutal death
Dude,
rate.
you
equivalent of 10
covered their
9/11.
fucking
Tens of thousands
numbers.
of people lost their lives. And for what, Ron?
Those are more lies. In fact, the Lancet just did a study. Florida had a lower standardized COVID death rate than California did. That's a Lancet study.
let me-
Yeah, one more thing. One more thing.
Dude,
The
you
other
shut
thing
down
we
the
had-
counting of
the other thing
numbers.
California had
is one
higher
of
excess
failure
mortality
on
than.
COVID.
All right,
than
gentlemen,
Florida.
gentlemen.
Let me
Because they
talk about
counted their
that.
numbers unlike you.
Honestly,
Because the
hold on a
excess
second.
mortality
because
is
What the fuck are you
other
I want to
talking
ask
about,
you
bro?
both. Slow down. I
Jesus
want everyone to be
Christ.
heard. If I can ask you,
Wow.
I really do want this to breathe. I want this
What
debate
a
to
fucking
breathe. I want it
dickwad.
to
Yeah, this is a rough
organically
debate to
do.
listen to.
Ron,
There's
more
a
like
lot of
Ron
crosstalk.
I need both your cooperation.
Am I
I
right?
don't want to be a hall monitor. It's not my style. All right.
Fucking
You mentioned
Rhonda did not the pants in the relationship is.
both took very different approaches.
You know what I'm saying?
Governor Newsom, you issued the nation's first
Shut the fuck up, Norton.
order on March 19th.
He's probably wearing heels right now.
Governor
Is he
DeSantis,
social
you took a lot of
transitioning?
heat
I
for
think so.
reopening schools. You opened schools in Florida in August of 2020. All right, so here's the data, which I think is important. This is where the facts come in. Your state's death rates were almost identical.
This is factually untrue.
Hold on.
Factually untrue.
Okay. And by the way, both your states, with such different approaches, which is pretty fascinating, were both lower, significally lower than the national average. These numbers come straight from the CDC.
Oh my
So,
God!
Governor Newsom, how do you explain that?
Those are disanalogous.
That's what that is.
In the state of Florida,
The national population is 340 million people, You have 22 million in Florida, and double that amount, 42 million in fucking California. Those aren't.
Why do you need to lie about it?
Because your policies.
Just understand.
You're lying
You don't
about
need to
your
lie
record.
about it. No,
Population-wise, there is no argument here.
All right, one at a time. Gavin Newsom, finish your thought.
Beaches, bars, and restaurants. That's just a fact. He's running away from his record. He's running away from the fact tens of thousands of people died unnecessarily because he caved to the. It's 29% higher death rate in the state of Florida versus the state of California.
Okay, quick response, Governor.
You showed the stats. The stats are very clear.
One at a time.
On a per capita age-adjusted basis, California and Florida
Dude,
basically
bring
the
up
same.
the
Now,
fact
why is
that
that
you-
important? Because Gavin Newsom did huge damage to people in
Bring up
California.
the fact that he stopped
I
the
can't wait to
counting.
see the extent to which they cooked that graph at
We
Fox.
saved thousands of jobs. We saved hundreds of thousands of jobs, thousands of businesses. We had our kids in school. He had the kids locked out of school because of the teachers union. That is having a generational impact. California has one of the lowest literacy rates in the country. In the most recent NAEP exam, Florida came in #3 for 4th grade reading. California was far, far behind. So you should apologize for not getting your kids in school. Why didn't you get the kids in school in the summer of 2020 like we did?
The only
you bowed
person,
to the teachers
the only
union.
person,
You didn't do the job you should
John,
have done.
All right,
the only person,
leadership.
the only person
All right,
needs
one
to
at a time, quick
apologize
answer.
is Ron DeSantis for the tens of thousands of lives that died unnecessarily because he played to the fringe of his party.
We got to take a break.
And
finish your thought.
No, and when it comes to the issue of schools, you better be careful. You had more learning loss during COVID than the national average in the state of California. It's a fact. More learning loss. Your economy contracted more in 2020.
Quick break.
Expanded slower than California in 2021. More to come on this topic.
More to come on this debate. I know we're starting off
Next segment, I guess.
It's been rather dull.
More to come on this topic.
Coming up.
This motherfucker, bro. Oh my gosh. Yo. He's got
an impressive car.
Okay,
wow.
let's go mute on this as we wait for that to.
Fucking wiping the floor with him, bro.
Portion of this debate here.
Wiping the floor with him, bro. That shit is crazy, bro.
Hannity coming out and saying that he's going to be
That shit is crazy. Again,
clearly 2 versus 1 on this debate stage, but still Gavin Newsom
you got
has no issue
21.7, so 22 million
Ron DeSantis was actually
people, in Florida, and then you got 40 million, just under. Again, this is as of 2021, in California. So it's like, if you see higher numbers in California than Florida, well, no fucking duh, dude. There's less people in Florida than there are in fucking California by a margin of fucking 50 goddamn %. Of course you're gonna see higher numbers there, because there's more people to raise the fucking numbers. There's more people that got sick and died during COVID. And to be quite frank, like for only that like marginal amount of a difference between California and Florida. Correct me if I'm wrong. Shit. What was it? Wait, I could just rewind, right? I could just rewind. There it is. Florida had a little bit more. About almost 4,500 more than California. And yet California actually has the advantage here. Because again, they have double the population, yet 4,000 or so less deaths than Florida. Which really tells you, proportion-wise, Florida fucked the fuck up, dude. They fucked the fuck up. They fucked up. And fucking Rhonda de No Pantis, the heels, the secret social transitioning Rhonda over there, with their heels on and shit, fucking is it's so interesting how Ron was like, you know, oh, he's gonna try to, like, you know, trick you with his far leftist ideology, whatever the fuck, you know, his Jewish magic and stuff, and, you know, yet, like, he totally, like, was like, if you have more deaths in Florida, where you have double the population in the state where the governor of which you are accusing of being a piece of shit or whatever, not doing his job, yet you got more COVID deaths than they do, like, you're the one fucking up, and you're the one trying to flub the shit. Not only that, but correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure the motherfucker was like, hey, this whole, like, counting COVID deaths thing, let's stop doing that. Because it makes Florida look bad. I'm not going to say that out loud, but that's definitely the reason why. So, maybe you should shut the fuck up and, like, I don't know, fucking...
suck my cock.
You know what I'm saying? The governor might have his usual politician moves. He's got a mouth on him. Wait, hold up, MILF, where the fuck... where you at, Cali or... oh, please don't say Florida. Ron has stopped people from finding out where he goes to on his private jet. As you said, he stopped counting deaths and put them under a different term. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Some sneaky ass bullshit too. Oh, fuck. SoCal? Oh yeah, you told me that, that's right. I mean, Newsom is a fucking lib, but hey man, it's not Meatball Rhonda.
Communists.
Communists? What?
Red state debate with Governor Gavin Newsom and Governor Ron DeSantis. Gentlemen, let's move on to the issue of borders. Joe Biden's message to illegal immigrants during his campaign was, let them come.
15 minutes away from
I'd
the
have
water?
the tape,
Fuck
but
you.
I said
God damn
play the
it.
tape. And since taking office,
Sounds
Biden
amazing.
said he's gotten control of the border. Vice President Kamala Harris, Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas, Biden's press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre have all said the border is either secure or
We
the
have
border
seized
is
more
closed.
fentanyl during the
Border
Biden
Patrol
administration
says,
than any
well,
other
guess what?
administration
They have
prior.
been a
Just keep that in mind.
6.5 million encounters with illegal immigrants and so-called asylum seekers at the border since President Biden took office. The administration says, well, they don't know how many people actually are in the country illegally. Gentlemen, the American people, I ask you, I believe it's your turn, Governor Newsom, have the American people on the issue of borders, you're defending the Biden administration, they're saying the border's secure, they're saying the border's closed, those are the numbers from our own Border Patrol. Are the American people being lied to?
I don't think they're being lied to. The Biden administration put out a comprehensive plan.
No, there's comparable amounts of people bringing drugs in the country during the Trump administration as well as the Biden administration. Also, like a lot of those drugs too, also don't just come from Mexico and the cartels. Like, there's a significant chunk of it that comes from, like, fucking not Sweden, but like, was it Switzerland and Norway? I think I heard there was that one chick that was like deep in like the police precinct of some fucking place. I totally forget. There's a huge drug bust that happened months ago. The suburban blonde mom looking motherfucker, and she was like totally trafficking all this fucking fentanyl from like Europe and shit. Was it the Swedes? Yeah, okay. It was one of those countries that totally wasn't fucking Mexico and shit, you know? So it's like, I mean, cartels are cartels, and I totally get that. But it's like, at the same time, it's not just them motherfuckers, bro. It's a whole international fucking thing, bro. And you ain't gonna fucking, you know, you need to out-business these motherfuckers. Yo, fucking...
I'm gonna drop a hot take that people aren't gonna like.
You want to beat the cartels and the drug kingpins and shit? You legalize that shit and you sell it yourselves and make sure that there's safe injection sites. Boom. Because there's 0 death rates at these fucking injection sites and shit, and they're always offered rehab, and they usually go to rehab. They usually go, yeah.
It's talking about the issue of immigration reform tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's deja vu all over again
fuck,
with
dude.
that flurry of lies. This is a guy that says the Biden administration is not lying to the public about the border. They go to the White House briefing room every day. They say the border's secure. They are lying to you. We know that that's
Based
not
on
true.
what?
Gavin Newsom is lying to you when he says somehow I supported these things, which I didn't do. He's also lying to you about what it's going to take to solve this problem. California is a sanctuary state. They thumb their nose at federal immigration law, and this has real consequences. There was an illegal alien, Herbert Nixon Flores, who was in L.A., in custody. He was a repeat criminal. ICE wanted to take him into custody because then they would be able to deport him.
That's
LA
right,
refuses to work with ICE, and so they wouldn't turn him
Oh
over.
my God,
they end up
dude.
releasing him on the street. He ends up murdering the mother of a 3-year-old little girl. Those policies are deadly.
Okay,
They do
hold
not
up.
work. And I would tell you this. The Martha's Vineyard transport, Martha's Vineyard said it was a sanctuary jurisdiction. Kind of reminds me about Gavin Newsom when he restricted Californians, then he went to the French Laundry. These liberal elites, they like to impose burdens on you. They don't want to have to face the consequences of their actions. So we've got a lot of elites who want open borders, who lecture everybody else about it.
Oh
Then the
my God,
minute
I
they have to
swear to
deal with
God.
any of the consequences, oh man, all hell breaks loose
How
and they
about the
get upset.
consequences of
Dude, I swear to God, every single time a conservative says liberal elites, it's like, bro, just say Jews. You know what I'm saying? We know what you really want to say. Just say Jews. Just say Jews. You know? You know, anytime you say deep state, we all know what you're really fucking trying to say. Okay? Especially with your Nazi fucking fans and shit, bro. Alright? As far as like that's some bullshit too. And he's like, oh, the 3-year-old, what was it, mother of the 3-year-old or the 3-year-old themselves? I don't remember which one. Got stabbed or something. And it's like, okay, that's sad. Okay? But like you're totally weaponizing that death, which is anecdotal as fuck anyways, to like be a piece of shit. And it's like, no dude, fuck you. How about you suck my cock? I'll see you in court. You know what I'm saying? Almost all illegal drugs come through the southern border regardless of what country they originate. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna have to see some stats on that, but that's probably the case, not gonna lie. But it's like more fentanyl than any other administration previous to Biden administration, bro. It's like these are, I mean, it's not the most ideal numbers, but it's like the best. It's like, well, you can't fucking complain. It's like they're doing their fucking jobs. You know, they're doing their jobs. It's like, but Biden's doing it, so I hate it.
Having 8 million come in, and yes, there's criminal aliens, there are terrorists, there's a lot of fentanyl. That we've had tens of thousands of fentanyl deaths. I've met a lot of angel parents who have lost kids to fentanyl overdose, and the problem is, you know, you'll have a college kid that may take some pill not knowing that.
I would just like to say right now, I'm voting for Biden. I hope Biden wins. If Biden loses, there will be a theocratic fascist takeover of the United States government and its institutions. We've seen Project 2025. It's a thing that they want. We are literally up against Nazis at this point. It is a thing. They are not hiding it. They're very blatant about what they want to do. Yeah, so, like, let's hope Biden wins. However, I would like to make one thing clear. Fuck his bullshit support for Israel, okay? Jesus fucking Christ, dude. You are making it so fucking difficult to defend you. You are such a piece of shit. Fuck Biden, dude. Like, I'm voting for him, but I don't fucking want to. And no other motherfucker has a chance. Alright? It is what it is. We're unfortunately stuck with 100% Hitler and 99% Hitler. And it's fucking bullshit. We disagree on everything pretty hard. Well, that's a shame. That, you know, that I have 1,000 IQ and 1,000 heart Q, you know, intelligence and compassion. That sucks.
And here's what I haven't heard.
It's pretty easy to be a person like me and be like
Ron DeSantis,
kind
they want
and
to
smart,
demagogue this
you know?
issue. You want to play politics with issues. You don't want to solve this issue. Why don't you lead your party
Governor Newsom,
and support that $14 billion
hold on. I have a
Here's the
follow-up.
thing.
Governor
Here's the
Newsom.
thing. Here's the thing.
I'm gonna drop a hot take that people aren't gonna like.
If you look up and read even the summary on Project 2025, Daharumba, what the
Greetings
fuck
to
is
guests
up?
new and friends of old.
Hello.
Have a seat and
Hang
join
on,
us
hang
in
on.
tonight's
Alert box, shut the fuck up. Welcome, Daharumba, and welcome everybody else. Welcome. Hello. In needle? Needle? Is that an L? I hope that's. Hello, welcome. Hello. Here's the thing. I want to make one thing clear. What will you do if Trump wins? Honestly, the only thing that would save this country if Trump were to win is to completely undo that fucking result, to be quite frank. That's the only point in time that I believe in anti-democracy. Anti-democracy against those that are anti-democracy is pro-democracy. It's not like you can, like, second Trump term would be a disaster. Abso-fucking-lutely. I fucking hate Biden. I do. But he's not fucking Hitler, alright? And as much as people are like, oh, but like, that's on brand for your side, that's interesting because we didn't fucking storm the Capitol to try to get the results to turn into our favor. We didn't do that. That's not, oh, wait. Was that Antifa? Was that Antifa, brother? That was fucking Antifa right there. I tell you something. That was that deep state, Jewish-controlled Illuminati Antifa, George Soros. I tell you something, boy. It's 100 different stories that don't make fucking sense, and they always contradict each other, but they all make sense in my head, because I grew up with lead made in everything. So, yeah, that's definitely, that's stupid as fuck. There's definitely a setup, and all the recently leaked tapes show it. That is completely not true. I don't know what leaked tapes you're talking about, but that shit is not fucking true. Fake fucking news, bro. Suck my cock. I'll see you in court. Like, dude, here's the thing. That's dumb as fuck. That is stupid as fuck. Yo, I'm just gonna let you know right now. You are currently backing the orange Mussolini. That's what you're doing, bro. That's what you're doing. I know it sounds real libby and shit, but like literally it's 1-to-1. It's literally like, yo, if you read even a summary of Project 2025, it is literally theocracy and fascism. And if you brand yourself as a patriot, then you should be anti-fucking Trump, okay? That doesn't mean you have to be a liberal. Doesn't mean you have to be a lib. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to be a leftist, doesn't mean you have to be anti-fascist, really. But it does mean that you should be for the continuation of trust in the institutions that make our fucking country function. And if you can't fucking back that shit, and instead you're gonna fucking rely on these half-cooked, half-baked, bullshit, baseless, no real fucking evidence to support it, 2,000 mules on YouTube fucking dumbass shit. If that's what you believe in, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you. We live in two completely different fucking realities, bro, and I live in the real one. I'm sorry to tell you, man. I'm sorry to tell you. Like, it's just like, I don't know. Shit. Hold up, what now? Don't bother Austin. This is someone who sees whatever opinions are popular on social media and feels empowered from that. Holy shit, that is so hilarious, bro. That is so hilarious, bro. Because I used to be a conservative. I used to be an Alex Jones fan. Like, I believed in David Icke. I believed in the reptilians. I believed in the Anunnaki. I used to, like, I was this close from thinking that Jews were reptilians who were controlling everything. I used to be that fucking guy. So, that's interesting that you say that, because I turned away from that and turned towards logic. And now I'm a fucking commie on the internet. So it's like, who's really the fucking crazy ones here? You, bro. It's fucking you, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit. You think that shows your growth, but it really just shows how stupid you are and always have been? Saying I used to be like you and now I'm not? What? You kind of just, dude, you just played yourself, bro. You just self-reported on yourself. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? I used to be a liberal? Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Some of us, listen, I don't like liberals. I just like liberals more so than conservatives, all right? You know? Is this job better than your last one? Who are you talking to? I don't know what you're talking about. Still on brand for your side, dude. The most conspiratorial thing that we believe in is, yeah, the CIA did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the most conspiracy brain the left gets at all. What are you talking about? That didn't make any fucking sense. Hey, hold up. So I'm gonna, hold up. I want to ask Steph Curry, Sim, and Austin. I want to ask you both a question. What do you think about trans people? The fuck are my cats doing? What do you think about trans people? What's your opinion? Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Okay. So, would it be fair to say... Would it be fair to say that you support the ladies? You support the ladies, Austin? I support the ladies. Especially in sports, yeah. Yeah. Well, you've been a terrible sport, so I'm gonna ladies nuts on your face. Get banned. Oh, fuck shit. Oh, get banned, bitch. Oh, get banned. Fucking suck my cock. I'll see you in court.
You stupid fuck. You fucking imbecile. You absolute fucking dumbass. Holy shit. You stupid little bitch.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You could be normal. You could get therapy. You could get on meds to, like, bring some equilibrium to your brain chemistry and shit. You could do that, but you choose not to, which is so weird to me. You could just be like a good person. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, no, let's actively be hateful. That's so wild, bro. That's so weird, bro. That's so weird. So weird.
Higher, 499.5 offenses per 100,000. In Florida, lower, 258.9 offenses per 100,000. Governor Newsom, let me start with you. Your numbers are way higher than the national average. How do you explain that when safety and security, I would argue, is a prerequisite for the pursuit of happiness?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. We're near 50-year lows, down 55% violent crimes in the state of California from the 1990s. And I want to compare and contrast that with the issue in Florida that you didn't mention, and that's the murder rate. And let's broaden it more broadly. The issue is 7 of the top
Those numbers were
10,
part of the murder rate.
7 of the top 10 murder rates in the United States of America are red states. He has a 66% higher gun death rate than the state of California. He has a higher murder rate. Go to places like Jacksonville. Go to places like Orlando. Go to places like Tampa. The murder rate's off the charts compared to cities like San Francisco. And you know what? Even more egregiously, Sean, and I think this is important, the American people deserve an answer from you, Ron. You had one of the worst mass shootings in American history, Parkland. 17 kids were gunned down, lives lost, 17 others, lives torn asunder. You had a young girl by the name of Jamie Gutenberg, whose
Cali has a
father
bigger
pleaded
puppet. That's what I was saying earlier, Doc Roomba.
And you know what you did?
Quit
You did the
being
exact
fucking
opposite.
smart.
You made it easier for
Quit being
felons
smart.
to get guns.
That's what I
without
said earlier.
background checks,
Absolutely. That's
without
true.
any training. These people pleaded with you, the parents and the families, to get tough on gun safety. And again, you made it easier for felons. He said of you, Ron, and I agree with him, after you signed that concealed carry bill, which increases the likelihood, Fred Gutenberg said, of more Jamies losing their lives and more Parklands, he called you weak, pathetic, and small. So with respect, I appreciate you're talking to police officers in the state of California. You may want to spend a little bit more time, not on the Ohio Trail and other places across this country. You may spend a little more time back in your home state and address the murder and gun violence in your own backyard.
So this is the
Damn,
politician.
what
You
the
put
fuck?
up the rates. He has 500 per 100,000. Florida is 250. So that's almost twice as much. And he's trying to spin that to say
he is
California's
flailing right
doing
now.
good.
DeSantis
People
is flailing.
are leaving California in droves, largely because public safety has collapsed. They have, I mean, you go, when Californians come to Florida, one of the things they'll say, it's almost like an out-of-body experience. They can go to the store, get toothpaste off the shelf, pay for it, and leave, because in a lot of these places in California, everything's under lock and key. Because
he always just defers back to like random, unprovable anecdotes. Like you can't find toothpaste.
like literally every fucking conservative ever in this fucking
public
country.
Safety. They treat,
swear to God, dude.
They're
Literally
easier on
all
sex
of them.
offenders. They're easier on all these crimes that are leading to a collapse in the quality of life. And if you just walk around San Francisco, you will see, and I think it's interesting, Gavin Newsom was mayor of San Francisco. So he took the San Francisco model, turned that into a template for California's collapse. Now the left wants to take the California model and use that as a template for America's collapse. We cannot let that happen.
Wait, I got to, Governor, no, I got a follow-up question. You brought up
Ramaswamy or Trump or Haley will beat Newsom or Biden. Bro, they're literally unhinged and emotionally fucking, like, toddlers. Every single one of them with egos bigger than fucking Jupiter, alright? I don't like Newsom. I don't like Biden. They're annoying little fucking libs, but holy shit. They ain't trying to, like, make being trans illegal. They're not trying to fucking, like, redline the hell out of every fucking blue state to where black people can't vote. Alright? Fucking Trump said he'd enact the Insurrection Act of 1807 when Black Lives Matter was protesting, okay? Which was drafted to catch runaway slaves or quell slave rebellions. Like, what the fuck, dude? Fuck that shit, bro. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Peter, I hope... I can't think of anything clever. I'm just not even... BAM! Get banned. Don't care. Don't care, boy.
Is defined
I don't give a fuck.
As the intentional killing of 4 or more victims, excluding the deaths of unborn children and the offenders by any means within a 24 period of time. I believe, Governor DeSantis, you get this first.
What California wants to do is they want to make it harder for law-abiding citizens to defend themselves. Then they go easy on the criminals who are perpetrating the crime. They don't stand up for the men and women of law enforcement. That's why a lot of people have left the state, because they don't get the support from the communities that they need. And, you know, Gavin told another lie. He said we made it easier for felons to do. Felons are not allowed to possess firearms. That's federal law. That's been long-standing.
No background checks.
That is an absolute lie that he's saying like that. That has nothing to do with buying or purchasing a weapon. So that's just a lie, another lie that's coming up. But here's the thing. People are leaving California in droves because he has failed to stand up for public safety.
Same refrain.
Ideological joyride.
Leave it in droves.
To let people out of prison early, to go easy on them. Heck, your buddy, Gavin's buddy in Los Angeles, Gascon, he doesn't even prosecute. When you have, when I was in Southern California for the Reagan debate, a lot of the women tell me they have to take off all their jewelry just to be able to go shopping, because otherwise they're going to get mugged. That is the reality that people are facing in California.
Hey, no, Dr. Rumbo, you don't understand. Apparently, we are somehow the Nazis. That's apparently us somehow. That's apparently us somehow. Literally, every single one of their policies and their rhetoric and what they call people that aren't white, Christian, conservative, pro-capitalist, male, especially cis, straight, even though most likely they're like fucking altar boys or some shit, or, you know, or Eagle Scouts or some shit. No. They're doing all the Nazi stuff, but we're the Nazis. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. You know, just I didn't know that. This is so wild to me, bro.
Saves lives. You had the chance to do something
so
meaningful.
wild,
you had
bro.
a chance to do something on behalf of those Parkland families. You did the exact opposite. You moved in the exact opposite direction.
Yeah.
With all due respect, look at your own backyard, Ron.
So
You're
I
not
will
mining
do that,
your backyard on this issue.
I will do that because we have we had 2 radical left Soros district attorneys, like your buddy Gascon in LA, one in Tampa, one in Orlando. They were endangering the public, and I removed them from their posts. Gavin Newsom has not lifted a finger to rein in Gascon in LA. that city has collapsed. That county's collapsed because he is not enforcing the law. So that's just the and here's the thing.
I'm in Los Angeles. We're fine.
California model. We're a little over time.
In Philadelphia, Baltimore, all
15 seconds. We got to go break.
Come on. I mean, you're running for president of the United States. You're talking down the great state of California. You're talking down one of the great American cities, Los Angeles. That's insulting. And you're doing it because you're trying to obfuscate the facts that you have a higher murder rate in the state of Florida and the state of California.
We got to
some
take
of the
a break.
lowest crime rates we've had in 50 years.
We'll have more with Governor DeSantis, Governor Gavin Newsom on the other side as we continue the great state debate, blue versus red. There's hardly any differences. A lot of ground to cover. Thank you for being with us. We are in beautiful Alpharetta, Georgia. Thank you for joining us on Hannity.
I don't know how many more times we can see Ron DeSantis pivot to people are leaving California in droves. People are like Newsom will get all of these shots in about proving. And by the way, this is all of his numbers were based on a study from Third Way, which is not a liberal group. Third Way. I'll pull up the study right now. Here we go.
Here we go.
The Red State Murder Problem, published by Third Way. Trump voting states account for 8 of the 10 highest murder rates in 2020. The top murder rate states: Mississippi, Louisiana, Kentucky, Alabama, Missouri. Then we have New Mexico, then Georgia, Arkansas, Tennessee. So New Mexico, blue state; Georgia, blue insofar as it voted, insofar as how it voted in 2020. But otherwise, Mississippi, Louisiana, Kentucky, Alabama, Missouri, South Carolina, Arkansas, and Tennessee, all top 10 murder rates. Like, these are all Trump voting states. And again, this is not this is not
what's
like
really
some liberal
fucked up,
study.
What's really fucked up about that is that, like, these are easy things to fucking Google, bro. Okay, these are easy things to Google. And what's crazy is that, like, they'll whatever information they have against the left, it's so easy to find, and everyone knows it, and everyone agrees with me. And you're crazy, you're delusional for not thinking the way that I think, you know. But one Google search completely disproves their shit, and they're like, fake news, it's fake news.
Looks like shit.
Looks like shit.
Looks like shit.
Looks like shit. What's your fucking pronouns? I'm just pressing buttons at this point.
Looks like shit.
Suck my cock.
It's just so crazy, bro. It's just so crazy. Like, literally, like, that's just the deep state. What's what the deep state wants you to think. It's like, bro, where the fuck did you get your information from? I got it from fucking conservative revolution 1776 .com that I totally found through Google, but that's beside the point, you know. Or rather, I found it through Facebook, probably. I found it through Facebook. You know, and it's just like, bro. I thought all these social media sites were like anti-conservative or whatever. Oh, fuck. What is this? What is this? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Did you ever wear a mask outside during COVID? If you mean outside of my home, yes. If you mean outside, period, no. I thought I banned you. That's weird. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here! Peaky fucking blinders! I fucking blocked you, eh? What's going on here? Let me just unblock you and block you again, I guess. Because that's fucking weird. What the fuck are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, eh? We don't like conservatives around here, okay? It's not the space for you, okay? It's not the space for you. Okay? Here's the thing, what's crazy about that shit, dude, is that I bet you there's some hate-watching motherfucker probably. It's like, look at this pussy leftist. You can't debate the free marketplace of ideas. If your ideas are so great and so infallible and Marxist and stuff, you should be able to debate this stuff. Bro, it's like this. It's literally like, hey, fucking something material conditions, and if we center policies around this, then like we uplift more people and more people are happy, and that's a good thing. And the other side's like gay frogs and moon cheese Jew lasers. And it's like, bro, there is no marketplace of ideas, bro. There's no such thing, bro. There's no such thing.
Parental rights. Now, in March of last year, Governor DeSantis, as you know, you signed the Parental Rights in Education bill. And let me read from it. It says, classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3 or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in according with state standards. Critics have called the bill, quote, homophobic. This is the one they branded the Don't Say Gay bill. I ask you, Governor DeSantis, in especially the lower grades, should schools, and maybe all grades, should schools be focusing on reading, writing, math, science, history, computers, and maybe leaving values, considering parents might have different values than teachers at school, to the parents, to religious institutions, or is it the role of the school? What is the role?
The role of the school is to educate kids, not indoctrinate kids. It's not to impose an agenda, it's to do the basics. And what we've said in Florida is it's inappropriate to tell a kindergartner that their gender is a choice. It's inappropriate to tell a second grader that they may have been born in the wrong body. Now, California has that. They want to have that injected into the elementary school. My wife and I have a 7-5 and a 3-year-old. We don't think that that's appropriate. And I know most parents do not think it's appropriate. It's also important to respect parental rights to know what curriculum is being used in the classroom, and everything should be age appropriate.
Put them in a private school.
I actually have something that I brought that some parents have objected to.
Put them in a private school.
So this is a book that's in some of the schools in California.
Oh,
Florida,
God, here we go with this
standards,
fucking shit. Here we go.
Some of it's blacked out. You would not probably be able to put this on air. This is pornography. It's cartoons. It's aimed at children. And it's wrong. So this should not be in schools. When people like on the left say that somehow you're banning books by removing this from a young kid's classroom.
I swear to God, they always cite this one fucking book when 99% of them aren't even like that.
Have a situation where some states just trample on the rights of parents. Parents have a fundamental right to direct the education. This is why we're banning 600 other books.
I mean, by the way, you've been on a banning bench. 1,406 books have been banned just last year under Ron DeSantis' leadership.
Party of freedom.
I love that he keeps pulling this out. I've seen this. He's been doing this all over the campaign trail. What's wrong with Toni Morrison's books?
It's not banned.
What's wrong? It's not true.
Not.
What's wrong with Amanda Gorman's?
It's not banned.
And the poetry. 1,406. 1,406 books have been banned on your banning
anything
bench
inconvenient.
in the
He goes,
state
not true.
Of Florida, as it relates to parental rights. Come on, California. It's in our Constitution. Parental engagement. It's called the LCFF process. We actually require parental engagement on curriculum development, and we don't. Complete lie. We don't require K through 3rd grade sexual education. That doesn't happen until middle school. What you're doing is using education as a sword for your cultural purge. And you know what? With all due respect, you know, I remember in the 1970s, we had a bill called the Briggs Initiative.
Look at DeSantis'
and there was a guy by the
face.
name of Ronald Reagan, so offended by the Briggs Initiative, which was the original Don't Say Gay bill. In that case, it was not allowing teachers that happened to be gay to teach. And Reagan had the courage to stand up, and he said, you can't catch gay like you can measles. I don't like the way you demean people. I don't like the way you demean the LGBTQ community. I don't like the way you demean and humiliate people you disagree with, Ron. I really find this fundamentally offensive, and this is a core value that distinguishes the values of my state and, frankly, the vast majority of Americans against the weaponization of education and the purging that he's advanced.
I have a follow-up question for you, though.
God damn.
And by the way,
wow, what
first,
the
Governor,
fuck, Newsom?
yes or
wow.
no?
Okay.
Are the book banning issues, is that not a state issue? Is that a state issue or a local issue?
Local, and he's
okay, that's all I want to know.
The home book wasn't there. That was
the
not
question I have.
1,400
Here's the
books
question I have.
Man, Hannity's back must be sore.
Some of the books you're talking about, one is called, the governor just brought it up, it's called Gender Queer, a memoir, explicit pornographic book showing sex acts. Another, Flamer, graphic book about young boys performing sex acts at summer camp. This book is Gay, a book containing instructions on the ins and outs of gay sexuality. Let me finish. Let's Talk About It, a book that contains graphic descriptions about how to masturbate for males and females. My question to you, Governor Newsom, those books, do you believe that's appropriate for school districts to teach kids? Yes or no?
Come on, those aren't. That's not part of the curriculum. They're not teaching
those
kids
are
that.
Those are books that were in school.
Hold on. The bottom line is you are on a book banning binge, your state. 1,406 books, 3,362 in this country.
Come up with a clever rebuttal, dude.
That's not. We don't provide for K through 3rd grade education that kind of curriculum. It's just made up. These guys make it up. It's part of this cultural purge.
Should it be?
Just a made
what grade would it be acceptable?
What I find offensive, Sean and Ron, what I find offensive is a very significant number of these books happen to be LGBTQ books. A significant number of these books happen to be about African Americans.
Do you think it's
honestly find it
Governor?
I told
do you think it's appropriate in school?
We don't teach that. We have sex education in middle schools and high schools where it's appropriate. This is a ginned up, made up issue to divide this country. You talk about dividing this country. This is part of the culture war, the weaponization of grievance. This is part using education. We're focusing on math, science. We're focusing on reimagining our school system.
We're going to get to education
criminalizing teachers and criminalizing librarians that check out the wrong
book. They've used the schools to impose a liberal agenda, social justice. They have this ethnic studies where they're dividing people. That's what they're doing. But let me just say something about parents' rights, because he says California respects parents' rights. This is rich. He's been telling a lot of whoppers tonight. This may be the biggest. In California, if you're a parent in Iowa or New Hampshire or South Carolina, your minor child can go to California without your knowledge or without your consent and get hormone therapy, puberty blockers, and a sex change operation, all without you knowing or consenting. How in the heck is that honoring parents' rights when you're bringing people from out of state to go around their parents' backs and getting life-altering surgeries? That is radical. That is
Ron,
extreme.
these kids
that is an assault on parents' rights.
You know what, Ron?
It's not for you to decide. It's for the parents to decide. And the parents do not want their kids going to these other things.
Let me go to a follow-up. Let me stay on a follow-up. Let's turn to the issue of education.
Where's your decency and humanity and grace when it comes to
of ripping somebody
they don't have that, dude. They don't give a fuck about
nobody
that,
nobody can hear you.
That is wrong. That is wrong.
I'll tell you,
all right.
That should not stand in this country.
Let us turn, gentlemen, if I may, to the issue of education. Here is public school spending per K through 12 students, according to the Education Data Initiative from the U.S. Census Bureau and National Center for Education. Florida spends nearly $12,000 per student.
If someone could find me a link before I do, last I heard, as far as like the national push for book bans are concerned, isn't it only like a few fucking people? Like 36 people? Like, it's such a small amount. Last I heard, I could be wrong on this, but I heard that it's like such a minute amount of people are just kind of going around like a circuit and getting books banned and shit. I don't know.
Upwards of $2 billion for child savings accounts and the opportunity to start businesses when they graduate. We have one of the best records under COVID, during COVID. And again, you didn't answer to the fact you had more learning loss. Ron DeSantis had more learning loss during COVID. 4th grade reading, 4th grade math, 8th grade reading, 8th grade math. We outperformed you in it's a fact during COVID in every one of those categories. I can't wait to get all the PolitiFacts tonight because, Ron, you keep denying some basic fundamental facts on health, wealth, and education. We outperformed you during COVID. You talk about things to apologize. You should apologize for your COVID record. You were with Fauci. You aligned with vaccines. You aligned with CDC guidelines until you didn't, and tens of thousands of people died.
Let's return our focus to education.
Well, when we opened the schools, we bucked all of those people June of 2020. He kept the schools closed for a long time, and that had devastating impacts. And why? What Gavin Newsom does in California is kowtow to the teachers union. Whatever they
collect all
tell him
banned
to
books.
do,
Fuck yeah, that
he
is
does. He will
based.
never balk the teachers union. That's why the kids were locked out of school for so long.
What's up, kid
Joe
boss? How you
Biden
doing?
is in the pocket of the teachers union, and so is Kamala Harris. That's why they fought
by the way, it's
school
not
openings
Kamala Harris.
when he
Shame
came
on
in
you.
there.
It's Kamala
when they had
Harris,
that in
Ron.
there.
It's Kamala
Biden came
Harris,
into office
Madam
and he
Vice
brought in the
President,
teacher
to you,
union to
Kamala
be
Harris.
able to do
Stop
all these
insulting.
different things to try to keep the schools closed.
They don't
So the
give a fuck,
Democratic
Newsom. They
Party,
don't
the
care.
far left in this country, they are owned lock, stock, and barrel by the teachers union. I beat the teachers union in Florida to get the schools open, first in the country during COVID. Also to do universal school choice. Every parent in Florida has a right to send their kid to the school of their choice. We're winning these fights. California is bending the knee to the union because they control the
All right,
politicians.
let's move on. A topic that will seemingly play a very large role in the future elections, and it's the issue of abortion.
Yes.
I have a question for both of you. I'll ask you to please respect the individual's right to answer uninterrupted. And that is Governor DeSantis. I think it's actually your turn, Governor Newsom, if you don't mind.
All good.
Most medical professionals believe a baby is viable outside of a
my-
mother's womb by between 24 and 26 weeks. That is the general scientific consensus. It changes. There are some variations on it. Abortion is legal in your state, quote, up to viability, is my understanding, unless the mother's health is in danger. I'd like to get you on the record. You've been unwilling to answer this question. Should there be any restrictions on the issue of abortion that
No.
you support at all? Because funding in California,
No
you have
restrictions.
allocated in your budget $265 million for abortion last year
The lead-
alone. My
The,
question-
the leading demographic of people who get abortions are mothers.
especially in months 7, 8, and 9, past viability.
I'm going to answer that question, but let's talk about the issue of abortion. Let's talk about the issue
You
of
going to
abortion.
answer it?
I'm going to answer that question. I'll repeat that. But I think this is important, and it bears repeating. Ron DeSantis signed the most extreme anti-abortion bills in America. He signed a bill banning any exceptions for rape and incest. And then he said it didn't go far enough and decided to sign a 6-week ban before women even know they're pregnant, Ron, before women can even access a doctor's appointment. So extreme is your ban that criminalizes women and criminalizes doctors that even Donald Trump said it was too extreme. On the issue of the extreme exception that you highlight as it relates to the issue of later term abortion, it's almost always because of a fetal anomaly, the life of the mother. And in those rare cases, I trust, and answer your question, I trust the mother and her doctor to make that decision.
So in other words, I want to be clear on this. If a woman and her doctor, for any reason,
Not for any reason.
No,
It's
I'm asking.
extremely rare.
Should there
This is a
be?
I know where you guys are going, Sean. You're even
I'm
uncomfortable
asking.
with this whole issue. And I
watched
understand
your-
it.
I watched
This is
your-
where you guys have
I'm
to
asking.
go to cover for the
Should-
extreme
should there be-
anti-abortion agenda of Ron DeSantis.
Should there be?
Who's hurt your
Would
party.
you support a ban on abortion
I just
in
answered
7th,
the
8th, or 9th month?
I just answered
if
the question.
if the mother's life is
It is
not in jeopardy.
extreme exception. People aren't going on and having abortions.
Should it
late
be
term
illegal then?
unless something
If it's rare,
devastating has happened?
should it be
It should
illegal?
be up to the mother and her doctor and her conscience. And it
So the
almost
answer is
always,
no restriction.
I've already answered it, and I'll just
restriction.
reinforce it. To cover
Okay.
up, again, hold on, for the most extreme abortion ban in the country. I have a simple question, though. This is important.
No.
Will you
I'm
not-
asking the
Ron
question.
DeSantis, will you or will you
My
not
turn?
sign a
My
6-week ban
Okay.
in the unlikely case you
let
become
me-
Governor
president of the United
DeSantis,
States?
let's
Would
talk
you sign
about-
a national
He'll
ban?
never
about
answer that
your
question.
Answer that. He's
You
getting
had-
saved
you
here
had 15
on that
weeks.
fundamental question.
You had a 15-week rule in California. You reduced it to 6. My question
Florida.
is this. What was your thinking behind it? Was it for religious reasons? Was it for
Man, he just
scientific
teased him up.
reasons? What was the reason for you from going from 15 weeks to 6 weeks?
Well, I believe in a culture of life. I think we're better off when everybody counts, when everybody has an opportunity to do well, and that bill attaches
Having
when
a
there's a
cough drop.
detectable heartbeat for the child.
How we doing,
and
Chad?
some states
We
have
doing
done that.
all right?
Some states have done others. Some states have
We being
done
chilling?
later. And obviously they have
Are we
a
laughing
right
at
to
this
do that.
fool?
But I think about one of our Floridians, a lady named Penny Hopper. She actually survived a
always-
late-term abortion.
Always with the anecdotes. He can
Yeah,
always just
literally.
point to like one random person.
The table there to
Probably literally
basically
mix
wither
up the
away.
names.
Her grandmother came, saved her, brought her to a hospital, saved her, and she ended up living a good life. So she counts and she matters. And I think that what the position that we have from the modern left, including in California, is that they will take your tax dollars and they will fund abortion all the way to the moment of birth. He's wrong when he says that the later terms are all because of this.
Dude, even fucking Roe v. Wade fucking covered that shit. It was like the moment of viability, you can't fucking have an abortion, bro. Like, they already covered that shit. What the fuck?
To do this all the way up to the moment of birth. He didn't answer your question about any type of protections at all for a baby that has a beating heart, that can feel pain, that is viable.
But hold on.
Respectfully, this is an important conversation. Will you or will you not support a national?
Sean, why didn't you answer
or will you
question?
not support
why didn't
a
you
national ban if it lands on your desk? You couldn't answer that in any other context.
Okay,
answer
gentlemen,
it tonight. It's a
we're
simple
moving
yes,
on
no.
to
By
the
way,
next issue.
Hey, no, Sean, not a next issue.
never gave a week.
The American people should know this. I'll answer it for Ron DeSantis. He can't answer it. He will sign that extreme 6-week
let me move on.
ban. The American people should know that.
I'm calling this the lightning round. It would be great if you guys cooperated. I'm not a potted plant here.
He tried to save him. Hannity tried to save him.
We all know that federal policy does have a huge impact on states. We know that. I'm going to ask you 3 simple questions, and I just want one-word answers, okay, from 3 of you, because we're coming up on a break. And the issue is right now Joe Biden is president.
Yep.
So I would like both of you to give a grade to Joe Biden overall as president. Governor Newsom, I'll give A.
An A, absolutely.
Governor
I think it's been a
DeSantis.
Failed.
A failure.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's your
Now, number 2,
president.
are his policies helping or hurting your individual states? Is it helping the state of Florida?
The inflation is hurting our state big time.
Grade.
Fail. He failed.
Yeah.
He's failed on the economy.
The guy just took
Is it helping
$28
the
million
state of
from the
California?
Science and Tech Act. Thank you, Joe Biden. It's absolutely accelerating our dominance in manufacturing, accelerating our revitalization.
Okay,
of
that
our
was a
state.
simple
The answer
answer.
Is unequivocally,
Lastly,
absolutely yes.
Okay, I will ask you, Governor DeSantis. I have played over and over again, and Governor Newsom, you have seen over and over again. Joe Biden is experienced what I believe to be significant cognitive decline.
So is Trump.
And in other words, it's the toughest job in the world.
So is Trump.
Is
He
Joe
kind of
Biden experiencing this cognitive decline? Is it a danger to the country? Do you find when he speaks, what is your reaction to it?
Yes, he's in decline. Yes, it's a danger to the country. He has no business running for president. And, you know, Gavin Newsom agrees with that. He won't say that. That's why he's running his shadow campaign. He should not be running. He is not up to the job. And it is dangerous for this country.
Well, I will take Joe Biden at 100 versus Ron DeSantis any day of the week at any age. In fact, all of the folks
you think
on the
he's up to the
campaign
job?
trail.
You think he's 100%?
I've been spending
100%?
plenty of time with Joe
100%?
Biden in private and
Let him
public.
answer.
You don't know. And by the way, results matter. Inflation now is down to 3.2%. Wages are up to 4.4%. The economy is booming, 5.2% GDP growth in the last quarter. Those are facts you don't hear on Fox News. 14 million jobs, 10 times
Let me
more than
move
the last
on. That was the lightning round. Now, on March 31st, 1968, President
get out of
Lyndon
here.
B. Johnson
Stop him.
famously
He's saying
said,
too much shit.
I shall not seek and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president. Now, despite being an incumbent president who is eligible to run for re-election, Governor Newsom, I've interviewed you twice on this issue. You say you are not running for president in 2024. In fact, you recently said, quote, you think that Vice President Harris is naturally the one lined up to run for president if Joe Biden were to bow out. Governor Newsom, tonight I ask you, will you make an LBJ-like statement? And Governor DeSantis, you say he's running a shadow campaign. In your response, I would like you to answer that. Will you say unequivocally, under no circumstances are you running?
Correct. I've said, I don't know how many times I can say it. Just making this stuff up about a shadow campaign.
If
Bottom line,
if at the DNC convention they come and ask you, will you run? What will you say?
Joe Biden will be our nominee in a matter of weeks. And in a matter of weeks, Sean, he'll be endorsing Donald Trump as a nominee for the Republican Party.
If they come to you at the DNC and Joe is incapable of running and they ask you, are you a hard no?
It's not even optional. He's doing fantastically. I appreciate and respect the work the president's doing and the vice president's.
His talking point is so tired.
And team. So absolutely unequivocally,
Vice President Harris would be the next
continuing to support their efforts. President Biden will be reelected. Donald Trump will be rejected.
I think what he's saying should color every single thing. I mean, I've called him on a lot of the lies, but he says Joe Biden is 100% up to the job. You know that that's not true. Anybody that can look, he wants you to believe him over your own lying eyes. When he says the economy is so great, how great is it when you're going to the grocery store now? How great is it when you're trying to afford a home? How are those interest rates doing? What about affording a new car? So we have to get real here. We have to understand that Biden is not up to job. But here's I think the problem. What Biden would do, the people around him, they would look to California for the model to go forward in the next 4 years. That would accelerate the decline of this country. Freedom is what works.
Memorized speeches every
need
time.
to be left in the dustbin of history.
Yeah, tell
Oh my God.
freedom
Everything's
to
left
women
in
that
the
you're trying to
dustbin of
criminalize
history.
in your state. And
All right, we're retreating to old ground.
Spare
For
me
years,
this notion of freedom.
Yeah, no
Delaware
kidding.
is not a state.
It's always
of
old
one
ground.
of the things I wanted to accomplish here is the policies that you both implement have a great impact on the citizens of your individual states. For years, a gallon of gasoline, Governor Newsom in California, has been notably higher in your state than in the state of Florida.
What is the
Here are the numbers,
cost
by
of
the way, recent numbers. The
living?
average cost for a gallon of gas nationwide, just over $3.24. In Florida, $3.17. In California, it is a whopping $4.85. So, Governor Newsom, I ask you, you've also sued big oil companies alleging executives have deceived
Math isn't even my strong suit, and I can do basic math better than any of them. Oh my God.
It's a polluter. If your lawsuit is successful, that would likely mean higher gas prices, even higher gas prices for everybody. Here's my question, though. Could you name right now one source of energy that you can bring online in the next 3 to 6 months that would be as inexpensive for the people in this country as fossil fuels?
Well, let me touch.
Can you think of that energy?
Let me touch on the. I'm going to get to your question, and then let me touch the latter part of your question. Let me give the first part of the question.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. Since the 1980s, Republican administrations, Democratic administrations have experienced under their stewardship, experienced higher gas prices in the state of California. We've been ripped off by big oil. We continue to be ripped off by big oil. Big oil now has met a new foe, and that's the state of California, the most aggressive anti-gouging law in America, more transparency being required than any time in America. And yes, we're suing the industry responsible for this climate crisis. By the way, the same climate crisis that Ron DeSantis celebrated as human caused, who campaigned for a fracking ban, who campaigned to oppose offshore oil drilling, and then 2 days after he got elected, signed an executive order. By the way, Nikki Haley had you dead to right on this, Ron. Signed an executive order doubling down, saying you're adamantly opposed to fracking, adamantly opposed to offshore oil drilling. You were celebrated by the Sierra Club for that action until you weren't. Once again, it shows the hypocrisy of Ron DeSantis. Now you're running away from climate change as things have gotten worse. Hurricanes, wildfires, droughts, and floods. $179 billion of weather-related disasters.
They won't even insure homes in Florida.
Talking points from big oil.
Really? Wait, what?
That was a mouthful.
They won't even insure homes in Florida?
But here's the thing. California's the only one that oil companies are gouging.
What?
Why are they doing that to Georgia?
Did I hear that
Florida,
right?
These other states that have lower gas prices because of their policies. That's why people are paying more there. What Gavin Newsom wants to do, what he's doing in California, what Biden wants to do nationally is government-dictated green energy policies. They want to kneecap fossil fuels and reliable energy. We've already seen what's happened in California. They have rolling blackouts. He actually implemented a mandate to buy electric vehicles. So pretty soon in California, you're not going to be able to buy a normal car, only electric vehicles. And they celebrated that as like a great thing. A couple days later, there was a notice from the state government telling all EV owners, do not plug in your EV because they don't have enough grid capacity. So he is walking his people into a big-time disaster. What Biden wants to do is he wants to take the California model. He wants to impose that nationally. He wants to take away your ability to purchase the car that you want. He wants to kneecap reliable energy. And he wants to bring these rolling blackouts all across the United States of America. It doesn't work. It's going to cause huge problems. We have more energy here. We can be the dominant energy producer in the world.
Florida.
And that's what we're going to do. Florida is not a big energy state. We have the Marcellus Shale. We have the West Texas. We have all of that. So let's do that. No forcing electric vehicles.
We got to take
Save
a break.
the American automobile.
When we come back, we'll continue the great state, red state, blue state debate. More with Governor Ron DeSantis, more with Governor Gavin Newsom as we continue.
Okay, so this motherfucker said they won't even insure homes in Florida anymore. And that took me back. I never heard that. Since 2017, 11 property and casualty companies that offered homeowners insurance in Florida liquidated. 5 of those companies liquidated in 2022. United Property and Casualty Insurance Company liquidated in 23 this year. Other insurance companies are voluntarily leaving the state. What? Oh my fucking god! I hate you. I fucking hate you, you goddamn piece of shit. Fine, there, I did it. I did the thing, NBC, with your shitty fucking UI here. Homeowners in California and Florida are both running out of options to protect their homes. Okay, that's interesting. Because California does have the San Andreas fault. And wildfires. There have been 8 disaster events since 2020 that have cost between $20 and $50 billion. Oh god, excuse me. 16 severe storms or hurricanes since 2020 that have caused between $100 and $200 billion in damages. Jesus Christ. And it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse. Florida rocked my home insurance crisis. I may have to sell up and move. When was this? Middle of July of this year. So this wasn't even that long ago. It was like 6 months ago almost. My insurance premium went from $750 in 1999 to a little over $3K last year, before jumping to oh my god, $4,700 in 2023. Oh my god! Despite the fact that the area I live in has not had a direct hit by a hurricane in over 100 years, and I have an itty bitty house. Luckily, I was able to get insurance through the state-funded program, Citizens Insurance. State-funded? Wow, it sounds like socialism's. This brought my premium down to $2,200 annually, so I could stay for now. But like, because it's all means-tested neo-lib bullshit, you know, how long is that gonna last you? That's fucking crazy, dude. Oh! Global warming is partly to blame, but so is Ron DeSantis. Instead of banning books and picking fights with Disney and drag queens, he should be tackling the issues that really matter to Floridians. Holy shit. Wow. How does that make you feel? That's... Good on you, Phil Goddard. Hell yeah, Phil. Stick it to him. That's crazy, bro. I've not heard about this until just now. That's so fucking crazy, dude. That's so bad. That's so horrible. Jesus Christ, dude. That is... Hold on. fuck you. Shut up.
Welcome back to Hannity, the Great Red State Blue State debate. We continue with Governor Gavin Newsom, Governor Ron DeSantis. According to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, these are the numbers for the homeless population in each of your states. It is a big problem around the country. In the state of California, it is 172,000. In Florida, it is 26,000. Now, the per capita numbers are pretty much the same. For California, it is 44 per 10,000 people, while
and there's
Florida
16 million
has
vacant homes
12
throughout
per
all the United
10,000 people.
States.
So, Governor
give 'em
DeSantis, I ask you, why the disparity? What are the policies you are implementing that is different from that of California?
California is adopting leftist policies. Gavin Newsom was governor or mayor of San Francisco. He put out a 10-year plan like 20 years ago. He was going to end homelessness. Then a few years later, he had another plan. And now he says he's going to do, and it's only gotten worse. In the last 10 years in California, the homeless has gone up 45%. It's gone down in Florida 45%. But it's caused a huge problem with quality of life in California. The people that flee always bring up this. They've really empowered lawlessness and drug use. And, you know, Gavin Newsom at one point tried to say that California was the freedom state. And I just kind of laughed, like, you're locking people down, you're doing all this. But then I thought about it, you know, California does have freedoms that some people don't, that other states don't. You have the freedom to defecate in public in California. You have the freedom to pitch a tent on Sunset Boulevard. You have the freedom to create a homeless encampment under a freeway and even light it on fire. You have the freedom to have an open-air drug market and use drugs. You have the freedom, if you're an illegal alien, to get all these taxpayer benefits. So those are freedoms. They're not the freedoms our founding fathers envisioned, but they have contributed to the destruction of the quality of life in California, and the results speak for themselves. People are leaving the state because they have failed in addressing the homeless population.
Well, I love the rant on freedom. I mean, here's a guy.
It's like a drawstring.
Teachers, criminalizing doctors, criminalizing librarians, and criminalizing women that seek their reproductive care. You're making it harder to vote. You're banning books. I mean, spare me this notion of freedom. Ask the folks at Disney about freedom and free enterprise. Ask the folks at the Special Olympics that you threatened to fine with $27
because they were discriminating against the athletes.
Who goes after
those
Special Olympians?
To be
when it comes to the issue,
Down syndrome,
Ron, of homelessness,
that is wrong. That's being a liberal bully. That's being a bully.
Really?
They had Down syndrome, and you wanted to discriminate against them.
$27 million
They were discriminating against because they were discriminating against the athletes. They wanted to marginalize the athletes, and you wanted the athletes marginalized. That was wrong what you did. These are kids with Down syndrome that just wanted to compete.
I grew up
and you wanted
special kids. I've been working with
You're a
special
liberal
Olympians all my life.
You wanted them to be ostracized.
You threatened to fine
talk to
Special
Isabella
Olympians
from Florida. She got to participate because we stood up for her rights.
This is the way you treat. By the way, no, hold on.
It's your turn.
No, let me say. I can handle that. I can handle it. I'm used to that. But you know what?
You wanted her
your
not to
attacks
compete.
on the trans community,
You
your
wanted
attack
her
on the
not
gay
to
and lesbian
compete.
community.
That's wrong.
You attack
She should have been able
vulnerable
to
communities.
compete. And
You attack women.
And we made sure they
Again,
could compete.
Ron, relax. I can handle it. I'm used to bullying. You're nothing but a bully.
You're a bully.
I understand that. Intimidating and humiliating people. That's your calling card.
Why did you want the
And by
Special
the way,
Olympians not
how
to be
well
able
is
to
it going
compete?
for you?
Why
How
did you
well
want
is
them
this
not to be able to compete?
How well is this
Why do
campaign
you not
going?
want them to be
He's
able
not
to
going to let me
compete?
talk, so
I don't
I'll talk to the
understand why
American
you would want to
people.
discriminate
Again, I'll
against
remind
athletes
you,
with Down
the
syndrome.
blueprint,
He wanted them to be
blueprint
excluded
for
from the
Florida
Special Olympics.
has put Ron DeSantis 41 points down to Donald Trump as you try to get tough and out-Trump Trump.
Let's go back to
on
the
the issue of homelessness. Has been an issue for decades in the making in the state of California, ever since we started shuttering down our mental health institutions back in the day, in Ronald Reagan's day. The difference is I'm the first governor in California history to take this head on. We are investing unprecedented resources, more accountability. We've gotten 68,000 people off the streets, close to 6,000 encampments we've gotten off the streets. We've also invested in unprecedented resources in reforming our behavioral health system. Ron has literally the worst mental health system in America, forgive me, outside of Mississippi and Texas. And so with all due respect to being lectured on some of these topics, Ron DeSantis is not the one I'm going to be listening.
30-second response. You're looking at total time. Governor DeSantis, about 2 minutes.
This is a map of San Francisco.
I thought it was a shit stain.
On that.
I legit thought that was
what is that plotting? Well, this is an app where they plot the human feces that are found on the streets of San Francisco. And you see how almost the whole thing is covered, because that is what has happened in one of the previous greatest cities this country's ever had. Human feces is now a fact of life, except when a communist dictator comes to town. Then they cleaned up the streets. They lined the streets with Chinese flags. They didn't put American flags there. They cleaned everything up. So they're willing to do it for a communist dictator, but they're not willing to do it for their own people.
I want to get in with the limited time we have left. I want to get there are two very important issues we have not hit. After the Hamas terror attacks on October the 7th, we have seen what is nothing short of a disturbing outbreak of virulent hatred, anti-Semitism around the world, in the halls of our Congress, on American streets, on college campuses. Last month, outside in Sydney Opera House, in Australia. We've seen it all over Europe, but in Australia, anti-Israeli protesters literally in this day and age chanting, "Gas the Jews, F the Jews." In American cities, we have protesters calling for global Islamic war and demanding that Israel be wiped off the map, or in the words of Congresswoman Tlaib, from the river to the sea. Israel, meanwhile, is vowing to eradicate the terrorist group Hamas. But according to a report in the New York Times this week, U.S. officials have warned Israel that they need more to fight more surgically in Gaza. Governor Newsom, 30 seconds for you. We have to cut back on time.
All right.
How can Israel win the war against this terrorist group using surgical strikes and directions from Joe Biden?
Israel. I visited Israel. I met with families, hostages. I saw videos of children being killed in front of their parents, parents being killed in front of their children. I saw a beheading with a garden hoe. This is not complicated to me. This is a fight between good and evil. Hamas is a terrorist organization, and they need to be eliminated, not just for the people of Israel and Jews around the world, but for the Palestinians themselves. But when it comes to the issue of anti-Semitism, you just mentioned a lot of things that have been occurring on Ron DeSantis's watch. He said nothing.
You're calling him anti-Semitic?
Marching. I'm saying he countenanced anti-Semitism, and now he's finally talking a big game ever since October 7th. How about the masked man marching in the street?
Fairness of
Jews
time,
get the rope.
gentlemen.
You said nothing.
Governor DeSantis.
Nothing on these issues. Look at the record.
Governor DeSantis.
Than a second Holocaust.
What about all the
they
Nazis
want to destroy
on the streets,
Israel
bro?
and wipe every single Jew off the map. Israel has every right to defend itself to the hilt. Biden should not be kneecapping them in any way, shape, or form. And by the way, Biden stranded a lot of American citizens over there. We're trying to get home. So I did an executive order in Florida, and we sent planes over to Israel right in the aftermath of October 7th, and we saved over 700 Americans, mostly Floridians, but not all, because Biden wouldn't do it. Finally, Biden started dumping people in Greece, and then they were sending a bill to the Americans just to get to Greece. If you come to this country illegally, they will pay to fly you all over the place. They'll put you up in a hotel at no expense. But yet our own citizens fleeing a war zone, they're going to send you a bill. Joe Biden failed those people, and we stepped up and got it.
Let me ask you. I want to turn to the
anti-Semitism.
We don't have a lot of time
on your streets for years.
I want to turn to the issue, gentlemen, of China. I talk about this often. Intellectual property theft, unfair trade practices. That China has been hostile to our fighter jets in international airspace, hostile to our Navy in international waterways. We know all about the China spy balloon that happened 8 days right across the United States over military installations. The communist Chinese, they have nationals buying up thousands of acres of ranch land, farmland, and land near military installations. Their hostility towards Taiwan. They are, Governor DeSantis, our #1 geopolitical foe. I don't see that the Biden administration has been tough with them. What would you do differently?
Well, first, in Florida, we banned China from buying land in our state, because you're right. You don't want them buying farmland or land near military bases. So we acted. We also got the Confucius Institutes out of our universities. China should not be involved in our universities at all. What you need to do is you need to have hard power in the Indo-Pacific to deter China's ambitions. You need to take the economy, and we need to decouple from China. We're dependent on them for so many things. And then finally, we need to get serious about their influence in this country. They shouldn't be able to buy farmland anywhere. I can tell you this, I would not go to China and grovel in front of Xi like Gavin Newsom did. He says China's a partner on climate change. China's adding 2 new coal plants every year. China's laughing at us with what they're doing. So yes, they're the #1 threat we face, and we need to take it seriously, and Joe Biden is not doing that.
This is just a reminder, I think it's a question some people are probably asking. I know Nikki Haley's campaign is asking, when are you going to drop out and at least give Nikki Haley a shot to take down Donald Trump in this nomination? She laid you out. You're a walking hypocrite.
Literally, we are China's best customer. That would be like if the mom and pop shop, well, not really a mom and pop shop, more like Walmart, but still, that'd be like if like your best customer who literally empties out half your fucking store on a weekly basis and gives you a bunch of fucking revenue and income and shit, like you profit so much off of this one entity. And then you just go up to them randomly and be like, hey, I got this sawn-off shotgun. How about I kablow through your face? Why don't I just do that to my best customer? China ain't gonna do shit to the U.S., bro. They get so much money in business from us, dude. And it's the same thing the other way around.
5 seconds? What do I get?
No, I'll do okay. I'll be a little more generous than that. Look, it's been a very passionate debate tonight. Actually, it's been fun to be a part of. I think the American people will decide. Governing philosophies could not be more different. But let me ask you this, kind of a fun question. You both clearly love your states. You visited each other's state. Governor DeSantis,
the other person's state.
You can take as much time as you want. You have an extra 90 seconds. What is your favorite thing about the state of California? And
I give him 5 minutes for this.
Go right ahead.
That's a good question.
All right, we'll stay longer.
5
minutes, Governor.
When I got orders as a Navy lieutenant to go to Naval Amphibious Base Coronado, I had not spent any real time in California in my life. Florida native, and I'm very proud of the state. But I got down there, and that Strand is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. And then all up and down, just a tremendous coastline. I do believe California has more natural advantages than any state in the country, which is why when you have so many people leaving on net, that's hard to do. Like, people don't want to leave there because it really is such a beautiful area. And I'm proud of the military installations that are there. I'm proud of what the Navy's been able to do in conjunction with the state. It was really important duty. It really helped forge me as an individual and as an American. And so I'll always have very, very fond memories of that nice Strand down there in Southern California.
I love that. I mean,
what do you
Reagan.
No, what do you? I don't know what you love
Reagan
about
used to
California.
call California Coast of Dreams. By the way,
what do you love about Florida?
What I love about your question is the comedy in the question. Meaning, you know what? We all want to be loved. We need to be loved. We all want to be protected, respected, and connected. I think there is a unity frame here.
Okay.
You said it well. I mean, Ron, I have no doubt Ron DeSantis loves this country. I love this country. It's not about red versus blue. It's red, white, and blue.
Right.
The United States of America. And I think we're all better off and we're all better off. And so I appreciate this conversation. I appreciate you, Ron, being a family man. You got 3 incredible kids. I appreciate your wife, your sacrifice, and I appreciate your military service. But I also appreciate we do have fundamental differences about the fate and future of this country. And that's why I'm going to be working so hard to get Joe Biden and Kamala Harris reelected in 2024.
You couldn't resist. You had to go right back to 2024. All right, here's the last question. Would you do this again?
Well, you know what?
I hope we could do another half hour. I got all night.
Joe Biden should show up to a debate.
Listen,
That's why
I have another 20 minutes, and I've got a lot of questions.
I'm happy to.
You want to stay?
Let's just do an extended hour. I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
Then this has been fun.
I think it's been fun, and I think it's been more entertaining. I'm sorry to the guests that I've invited. I got to take a break, though, in the meantime. We've got to pay some bills. It's not a cheap set we built for y'all. I hope you like it. Courtesy of your favorite channel, Fox News, and you do admit you watch often. We'll take a break. They've agreed to stay. Well, that's, I guess, a debate on the fly. We'll continue on the other side and later have live post-debate coverage.
Don't forget that Cali is on the forefront of anti-homeless architecture. Yeah, there's a couple different states. I think Florida's one of them, right? I think it's Cali, New York, and Florida. Hold up. There's a couple of them, right? States that are doing anti-homeless architecture. Yeah. I gotta pee. I gotta pee. I gotta pee. Fuck, dude. I gotta pee. Wait, hold on. New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Portland. That's all I'm seeing so far. LA, San Fran, Portland, and New York. Apparently those are the ones. I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back.
Remaining topics, which means that we are almost certain to see questions on immigration or trans kids or whatever Fox News fever dream lines of questioning he pulls up. Curious to know what everybody's thoughts are. I'm going to throw a poll in the chat right now to see, because I know we have a varied viewing audience here on this stream. So I'm going to ask who is winning this debate as of right now. And we're nearing the end of the debate. So obviously, Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom are the choices. I'll throw the poll in the chat right now. If you want to participate in the poll, which I highly recommend you do, please make sure to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to do so, but it's a great way to partake in poll questions like this one, but also to support this stream. I know that there's not a lot of options in terms of where to catch this debate, especially if you don't have cable or TV. So happy to be able to provide this, but if you can subscribe, again, it doesn't cost you anything. And it looks like, I would imagine that we have just less than 20 minutes, probably 17, 18 minutes left in this debate, if I had to guess, which is going to be rough for Ron DeSantis. You know things are not good for Ron when Gavin asks if he can have more time. But it is funny that, like, Ron DeSantis is having a rough debate, objectively speaking. He is just getting railroaded by Gavin Newsom on question after question. Some synapse fires in his brain, and he decides that the solution is to hold up a poop map. That is the judgment that you're signing up for in a Ron DeSantis presidency. Guy's getting schooled on the debate stage, and he says, you know what this debate needs? You know what'll propel me to victory? This map of poop in San Francisco. Man, it is one of life's great mysteries how Ron DeSantis went from being the heir apparent in the Republican Party to third behind Trump and Nikki Haley, who was polling at like 2% when all of this started. It is an almost impressive ability from Ron DeSantis to squander, just to snatch defeat from the claws of victory. So right now we have about 5,000 votes in this poll. If you haven't yet voted in the poll, who is winning the debate, Ron DeSantis or Gavin Newsom? Please make sure to get to the chat. Subscribe if you're not subscribed so that you can partake and vote. Cast your vote. Who is winning this debate? Ron DeSantis, Gavin Newsom. We're coming up on 5,000 votes already.
Oh boy,
welcome back
the
to
boys
Hannity,
are
a red
back.
state, blue state debate. By mutual agreement, both candidates had other commitments, and they realized afterwards they couldn't stay longer, but we appreciate them all being here tonight. Okay?
So
What
there
did
you
you think
go.
about it? Is there a winner, loser, winners, losers? You get to react. Anyway, here joining us,
So-
co-host of The Five and former...
In other words, here's what happened. Gavin Newsom asked if we can have more time. Hannity said, okay. They went to commercial break. Ron DeSantis said, ain't gonna happen. I've had enough. He called mercy, and now here we are, back to the Fox News panel. So a rough debate overall for Ron DeSantis that, again, culminated into a moment where Ron DeSantis found himself standing on that debate stage holding up a poop map of San Francisco. If you needed one moment to fully exemplify what happened on that debate stage tonight in Georgia, I would probably say that that's it. That he got to the point where he needs to hold up a poop map to try to win this debate. So a rough debate overall. I mean, we saw the usual talking points buttressed by Hannity about hostility towards trans Americans, about the economy, about abortion, about EVs and the climate action by this administration and the Democratic Party.
Poop map
Overall,
craft.
Gavin Newsom, was able to cite a number of facts,
fuck.
including the
God,
third
that's
way
fucking
study
funny.
that showed that the murder rate is higher in red states than it is in blue states. There's no rebuttal to
Oh
that.
my God.
Ron
Okay.
DeSantis brought up some idea about infanticide, post-birth abortion, that Democrats are
Well, if that's gonna be it,
willy-nilly getting abortions after the 9th month.
then
A study from the CDC that shows that
no, I'm
99%
afraid that's gonna have to be
abortions
it.
happen in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy. 1% happen from weeks 21
I'm
to
still a
30,
little bit
and
sick. I'm
number of
eepy.
abortions that occur after the
I
31st
wanted to
week
go to sleep
toward 9 months
2 hours
is
ago.
registers at 0.0.
But I
It's
figured that we
CDC.
should probably,
Again, just lie.
we should probably take a look at what's happening here. So, yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna go eepy. I will be streaming again tomorrow, early in the afternoon. Let's just say, by 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're gonna be talking a lot of shit. We're gonna be talking a lot of fucking shit, boy. We'll be talking a lot of shit. How did I celebrate No More Kissinger Day? By fucking jerking off to Kissinger fucking dying. Yeah, there's not many people that I feel that strongly towards, but I totally was like, fuck. Oh, Henry, more like Deadry. Oh, am I right? Yes. Henry, more like Deadry. Kissinger, more like missing more. That didn't really land, but whatever. He's dead. His greatest accomplishment, yeah. So yeah, there's that. Fuck Henry Kissinger, bro. Rest in piss. Rest in piss. I'll leave y'all with this. Hey, that rhymed. No, not that. I'll leave y'all with this. Henry Kissinger is dead.
I'm laughing to the bang line. I'm laughing at
Rest in piss. Rest in piss, bozo. Rest in piss. Now you're in hell where you got assigned new
fucking pronouns.
I bet even in the depths of hell itself, he, as a living, breathing human being, he probably still
looks like shit.
Way more than he does now. He's an ugly motherfucker. Anyways, my cat is having a bit of an asthma attack. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. It's okay. It happens. But there are some things that I gotta take care of. And some sleep that I need to catch up on. You okay, buddy? He'll be alright. He'll be okay. He'll be okay. So I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. And clean their litter boxes. Fuck, I need to do that. And I'm gonna go to fuck to sleep. Anyways, like I said, I'll be back here. I will be back here. In 15 hours, sometime before 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join the Discord and shit. You get all your updates there. Yeah. Fucking kiss my butthole.